Hello and welcome back. If this is your first time here, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. In this video, we're talking more volatility plays through earnings that we have upcoming. All of these plays that I have are next week. I would like to recap two of the plays that had earnings in the after hours yesterday and see how the call that I made turned out with what actually happened when the market opened today. So we'll take a look at those first, then move over into the other three plays that I have for you to see if there's any sort of opportunity worth pursuing on that side of things, and I'll provide further commentary. But first, I gotta ask you, did you hear about the two mathematicians who were walking through the forest? Well, one kept on walking around, knocking on the trees as he was going by, and the other mathematician said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm looking for logarithms." You know, I play that intro after the joke so that you have time to finish laughing, wipe the tears from your eyes, and get ready to get down to business. So with that said, I am going to be featuring the Moo app in this, so you can check out how you get 16 free stocks by using my link that's down in the description. I will talk more about that later on in this video, but like I said, down to business. And the very first company that I have to feature in this is Intel. So Intel, I said yesterday in my video that I expected to see about a 5% movement with the stock in either direction, whether to the upside or the downside. And it does look like we're getting a little bit of softness right now with what we have. So let's grab this tool that's right here, and we'll go to yesterday's closing price. That was closed 34.55. So we're about there now. And where this one opened, we actually opened up about 6%. So that 5% that I was calling for, we actually exceeded that. We peekabooed up through the top line of this bullish channel that Intel's been on. And then you can see now as the market's all going on, we're right around that 4%. The market, by the way, is doing really well. The NASDAQ right now up over 1%, S&P up about 0.7%, and we have the Dow just under 0.5% for the day. And I think a lot of that comes from the strong reports that we got through personal income and outlays, and also the ECI report as well. So that's worth checking out, but that's a different video. But the point here, Intel called for the volatility, got the volatility, and it landed right around the value that I thought. So depending on if you made that options play for that volatility, such as a long straddle, or maybe you're somebody who did a bull call spread on this, maybe you expected the upside, maybe you expected the downside. I like the straddle because then you get to play both sides of it. That initial volatility spike can be something that can return to you. Now, doing a long straddle does limit your risk, but it also limits your reward as well. So you don't necessarily get the big, huge rewards without the big, huge risks that go along. But the thing is, if we go for those small rewards over time, then we're only risking a little bit also. And we just need to be right more often than we're wrong, and make a little bit more when we're right than we lose when we're wrong. So let's move along from that. So that one, Intel, turned out pretty well for us. The next one was Enphase, ENPH is the ticker symbol on that one. And so for this one, I said 8 to 10% in either direction for Enphase. And so let's see what we got. So go to yesterday's close, which was, looks like 166.80. And that means I'm a little bit too high right now. Up a little bit. There we go. We'll call it that. And then today's open, when we go over to this candle, today opened at about 149, almost 150. I'm actually right about there now. We actually opened up about 10% down. So that 10%, 8 to 10% move in either direction, we actually exceeded the top part of that. And we go down today to the current price right now, as I'm making this video, we're actually beyond that 10%, which if you are an options trader in this, that actually worked out really well for you if you played that volatility, especially if you took the put option position that you looked maybe at what SunPower said and thought that maybe it's also going to apply the same way to Enphase, or maybe you have your research up on Enphase itself fundamentally and you're like, you know what, it's going to be a weak quarter for them, or the outlook doesn't look great for them, because it was, I believe, a forward guidance miss that we had, that the revenue ended up coming in significantly lower for Q3 for guidance than what Wall Street was looking for. And so that's why we get that drop out of that slight bullish channel that we were on before. We got 3 touches on the bottom, 2 on top, and we failed to keep hold of that 50-day, but the market did sell off yesterday. But it looks like that was in the right direction for Enphase. So it's cool that those two calls, along with Meta, I also nailed. That was pretty awesome. And then Google as well. And so I have 3 more volatility plays that I want to share with you. And I really wanted to put these out there because so far the calls that I've made for that volatility, should you have entered into them, or should I have entered into them, would have worked out pretty well for us. So let's move on from there on to earnings. So I'm actually going to do these sort of in reverse order. So this is after the market closes on Wednesday, which is the 2nd of August. And that company that I have for you is Etsy. So let me bring that down for right now. There we go. So for Etsy, you can see we have a double bottom right now. We're currently sitting bullish for the RSI that we have right here. And it is possible that we get that bullish movement from Etsy, but earnings are totally going to impact if we get a breakout sooner than that. And for Etsy, I think that breakout would happen above 100. That if we get above 100, it is possible it sends us up to and beyond the 200-day on this. However, we have to watch out for earnings, which, like I said, come out on August the 2nd after the market closes. And I think that we could see 10% in either direction for Etsy, that it's either one that it falls like we saw with Enphase, or it's one that rises sharply from where it's at right now. So for Etsy, 85 to 105 is what I had down from yesterday's close. And so here we're currently trading. If we get up to that $100 mark, by the way, I still say 10% in either direction. I think up to 110, and 110 actually puts us right just a little peekaboo above the 200-day. And if we're already at $100 by that point in time, I think that's something that we could possibly still see as at least that peekaboo. And as a matter of fact, if we make that sharp rise to 110, peekaboo over the 200, I think it is possible then we continue that run, because that would mean strength in earnings, strength in guidance for Etsy, and that could possibly put us back in a bullish direction after this extended sell-off that we've had for Etsy. That it is possible that now the bottom's in and that we keep on moving. Now, if earnings do disappoint, there's always that possibility that's out there, especially if the things on Etsy were possibly selling at a premium and people didn't want to pay that premium. And I think a lot of support for small business would actually be, how's that support holding out, especially in the face of, higher prices for everything, because prices going up for those producers for Etsy also means they have to charge more to maintain their margins. So my wife and I absolutely love to support small business. We shop on Etsy, we shop the local stores that we have, and there's just something nice about giving back to your community in that way and supporting your community in that way, rather than always flushing your money out of the community. So Etsy is one that I hope does well over time because of the service that it provides and the opportunities it provides those small business owners that are out there, and those entrepreneurs like me who are just out there to improve their station in life and really support their families with what they're doing. So enough of that commentary, but 10% either direction on Etsy, whether it's at where it's at right now at 98, we could possibly drop down to about 88, so that'd be just below the 50-day, or 108, which would actually land us just shy of the 200-day. I think 10% in either direction is good on Etsy. Let's move on from there to my friend Generac. There we go. And Generac has actually been, we actually had that golden cross moment. The 200-day has not yet turned positive, but is flattening out. So we had an extended sell-off on this. It looks like we had a bit of a double bottom on it. And then finally we crossed back up above the 200-day, above the 50-day. And we actually have a really nice looking ascending triangle here happening for Generac. And so breaking up above 150, we peekabooed up above it yesterday. And yesterday, for this chart, as a matter of fact, it won't show on your screen because of the way that it shares here. But yesterday, we actually had a sell-off throughout that. Actually, I can go here and I can show that to you. Look at yesterday. We had a strong open yesterday. That's why we opened so high and why you see that red candle starting off so high. And not only did we sell off throughout the day, but the markets also started selling off around 1 p.m. and Generac just went right with it. The nice thing is you can see this stutter happening right here where things sort of leveled off and evened out for Generac given that sell-off. And then we sort of eased back up a little bit today when we look at their price. So for Generac above 150, I think we actually have room up to about 165 when we look at their chart. So let me zoom way out on Generac. There we go. Look at that beautiful chart there. So if we continue in the bullish direction, we got room up until about 165 before we run into these previous areas of support, which have now turned into resistance for us. And if I zoom back in here, we can actually settle back down to about 135. So 135 is right there. So just above the 50-day that we have with the blue line that's on the chart right now. So we got about 10% in either direction for Generac as well. And the reason that I've chosen these stocks, by the way, is because of the possibly large movements that they could have in light of their earnings coming out. Now with this ascending triangle, it's possible we get that breakout moment ahead of time, but with earnings being so close, we could still have those big movements even if we do get that breakout scenario earlier. And if this thing does break out and be a bullish breakout, it's possible that we hit 165 leading up to earnings. But the thing is, if we hit 165 leading up to earnings, then it's possible that we sell into earnings. Those earnings, by the way, they aren't before the market opens. They're not before the market or after the market closes. Those earnings are at 10 a.m. on August the 2nd. So still Wednesday, August the 2nd, but it's while the market's open at 10 a.m. So we get about a half-hour reprieve from the time the market opens until those earnings happen. And then I expect that volatility to hit us by then for Generac. So that's ticker symbol GNRC. And the first one, just in case I didn't say Etsy, ETSY. This is one that I still think could go in either direction. That it's possible that it disappoints, that it's possible that we get forward guidance that isn't too rosy. However, this is one of those calls that for SoFi, I am bullish on SoFi. Not only am I an investor in SoFi, that I actually possess a relatively large portion in my own portfolio, but I also believe with student loans coming due that we're going to start getting some really nice guidance for their revenue. It's going to show us some really good growth moving forward, and I think that they stand to capitalize more on their market share take of onboarding more people onto their platform. Hopefully they keep on reducing that cost of customer acquisition as well. So for SoFi, love the company. It's a speculative investment on my part because they aren't yet profitable. Q4 is, I believe, when they're supposed to be profitable. Somebody in the comments said, hey, they're going to hit it by Q3, and that's nothing I've confirmed for myself to see how that's going to happen, although it's something that I could believe could possibly happen, that it's within the realm of possibility, I think, that we do hit that in Q3 instead of Q4. But for me, Q3, Q4, that's not a lot of time difference as a long-term holder for SoFi. So for SoFi, not the 10% that I said for Etsy or Generac. For SoFi, I think that we could see more like a 12% movement up or down from where they're currently at. So we could drop this thing down to about $8 per share. We could also ride this thing up over $10 per share from where it's currently trading. So if we use this little tool that I had here before, and I talked about the current price. So if I put my cursor on the current price, click and drag up to see where 12% puts us. 12% puts us at about $10.50. And then if we look to see where 12% puts us to the downside, click, drag, and that's about $8.30. So there you go, $8.30 up to $10.50. But that price can still fluctuate in either direction, you know, by a few cents or tens of cents, if you will. And I'm still going to hold by that 12% movement for SoFi, especially with the big retail following that it has, and that there's a lot of excitement and hype that also goes along with the company. And given that passionate following, I think that volatility is something that we can expect to happen for SoFi for their earnings. Now, SoFi's earnings are before market opens on August the 1st. I have talked about this. Yesterday's video, I believe, is when it was. I'd have to go back and look to see when I actually put that out. But it was something I did want to mention early so that there was time to look around at that opportunity. I wanted to put this out there as a reminder today and a reiteration that I still see that 12% in either direction following earnings for SoFi before the market opens. And that would be on 8/1. Is when we get that. Ooh, you know what? That's Tuesday before the market was. So we actually do have Monday. Oh my gosh. I just realized in my last video, I keep thinking of the 1st of August as Monday, but it's Tuesday. Sweet. So that means on Monday, you guys get the whole weekend to not only check this out, see if you think that there's real opportunity here, and then make any decisions you have based off your own research. But yeah, that's incredible. Sweet. So we actually get Monday, and that's even better. If you're going to make an options play on this, I wouldn't say the time to do that would be today. That options play, I think, if you're going to do it, and this is not advice, and I'm not telling you to do it, but if you're going to make an options play where you're the buyer of those options, time value is against you. So certainly today would not be that time to do it. That time to do it would be Monday if you're trying to play that earnings volatility for SoFi, in my opinion. Still, always do what you want, but I don't know why you would buy on Friday. Let the time value eat away at your possible profitability. You're only adding to the risk to buy options early when you expect that volatility to be happening on a certain day. And I expect that to be happening on Tuesday before the market opens. SoFi reports, and then we get to see that movement in the pre-market hours, and then we can actually trade on options wise during the regular market hours. And as always, there is market bias that goes into this. There's always external factors that go into this. There's no just one single thing that we can isolate and perfectly predict what exactly is going to happen. These are just the things that I expect to happen. So let me pop out of that, pop this up for you, and I'll give you my final thoughts. So Moo, I showed you, is where I do my technical analysis. Wonderful trading app. I show it in my videos. You guys can get access to that. They got a wonderful earnings calendar. It's where I go and I look to see what companies are coming up. I add them to my calendar right within the app. And if by signing up using the link that's down in the description, depositing $100 or more, you get free stocks. 100 gets you 5 free stocks valued up to $2,000 a piece. 1,000 and 5,000 gets you 15 free stocks. Still the $50 cash reward. That $5,000 deposit level gets you 1 free share guaranteed of either Tesla or EXPE. Tesla, mentioned it before in my videos, still love it. Hold it in my portfolio. Very bullish on it over time. I got my earnings projection available over at the Patreon if you guys want to check that out. The links that I have for not only supporting yourself, getting access to my exclusive content, getting access to the Moo app with those free stocks, all those are available down in the description. So this video should provide just a ton of value in the first place. Patreon, some extra added value on top for very passionate supporters of this channel, or if you're just very thankful for it and just want to give back a little bit, Patreon is there for you with my exclusive content, my Discord community that's over there, and then I also have my watch list of stocks. I also have my NVIDIA earnings forecast and my NVIDIA stock price prediction available over at the Patreon. That is my exclusive content, early access, just like I did with Tesla. I got it there for NVIDIA as well, and I plan on adding more companies over time as I do more of that forecasting and fundamental analysis on those companies. And then if you want to just talk with me, talk to my community, pick my brain, whatever it is, just being able to talk with more people about finance, you could do that through Patreon, through my Discord, and we'd absolutely love to have you over there as part of the community. Thank you guys for watching this. Check out those companies that I talked about. Let me know if you find any of this information helpful. Let me know down in the comments what you think of those jokes that I've been telling. I have a lot of fun doing it. It's just a little bit of added fun for me in the videos, and just hopefully to put a smile on your face, keep the day lighthearted for you, because honestly, to be stressed out and overworked in this and at our wits' end, that's a horrible way to approach the stock market. We got to do it while we're cool, calm, collected, that we're not feeling overzealous or euphoric, or that we're not feeling too down in the dumps, because both of those areas can cause us to make some pretty emotional, possibly bad decisions, and we want to stay away from that in our trading. If we're going to be in the markets, we got to be cool-headed about it. All right, I'm done rambling, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Like it if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Ring the notification bell to be notified anytime that my videos come out. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.